What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here. And really, now that the NFL regular season is over, draft season has really begun for a majority of the NFL. And what better way to start than with the Senior Bowl? It's a great event every year. Best seniors in the draft get down to Mobile, Alabama, practices game. It's a great experience. It's a lot of fun. And this year, the class looks loaded again down there in Mobile. It's going to be a good one. So in today's video, we're going to go through each position. I'm just going to give some initial reactions and thoughts from some of the players that jumped out from that initial roster reveal that Jim Nagy did with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. So we'll have more an in-depth kind of either live show or something later, but just initial reactions here, and you're going to see the names kind of cross over the board. But yeah, we're just going to dive in here and talk about each position. So quarterback to start with, the room looks very good. Obviously, it's going to be a proving grounds. Who's going to separate themselves as QB1? Probably from that week. And Kenny Pickett, obviously, with a great last season at Pitt, really improved in all areas. Accuracy, poise, can make plays out of structure. He's probably the favorite in everyone's eyes. Malik Willis, another good player who, again, athletically, arm strength, everything's there, just needs refinement in certain areas. Carson Strong, rocket arm, velocity, does so much pre-snap, great recognition skills, and a pocket maneuver guy. Sam Howell, another guy with a great deep ball, has Baker vibes for sure. Desmond Ridder, a guy who, Bleacher Report, some others are higher on him, others are a bit lower. He's kind of polarizing. What will he show down there? And of course, the production guy, Bailey Zappi, broke some records at the FBS level for Western Kentucky. Going to be a great week for the quarterbacks. Had to highlight all of them initially. I think it's going to be a great week for that. Running back now, James Cook is the one that stands out the most. Just elite explosion, quickness, guy who's going to be used on third down a ton. He can be a slot receiver almost. Maybe he gets some snaps at that down there. Jerome Ford was a late addition, and we have updated this to what it's currently. One guy went back from the corner room, but Jerome Ford was added. Another guy who, transferred from Alabama, but he's been really productive. I think the vision's good. Contact balance good, has the burst as well. Rachaad White is another name to keep an eye on. Again, really well-rounded, can affect all three downs. Maybe doesn't have that gear, but again, does a lot of things well. And Dameon Pierce could be the riser. Was on not a good Florida team, didn't get a ton of carries, but made the most of them when he did. Moving over to receiver now, I think Jahan Dotson, that's where the conversation starts for sure. The dude's a natural separator. Going back to school was huge for him. I think he could just make a mess of the corners down in Mobile all week in the one-on-ones. Just the explosion, just the burst. Plays bigger than his size at the catch point. He does it all. Could find his way into round one. Alec Pierce, another guy who's got the elite size. He's a deep threat. He's a better separator than you might think. Another guy who could have a big week down there and really work his way into round two, where some mock drafts have him going right now. Khalil Shakir is another one who just does everything well. He's faster than you would think. He's a good route runner at every level. Makes some spectacular plays every week this past season. So just definitely a guy to watch in Mobile. And Christian Watson, another late add. Just a guy who's, size and speed. North Dakota State used him on jet sweeps. They let him run deep. He's a speed threat. He's a deep threat with the 6'4" frame, and that's really rare. So just watch for him, especially. He's coming over from the Shrine game, so that's a big get for the Senior Bowl, no doubt. The tight end group, I think, is a great one. It's going to be a great draft for needing a tight end. Trey McBride's the obvious headliner here at the Senior Bowl. Just a guy who really can displace defenders, good hand placement as a blocker. He's going to play in line for sure from day one, but uses his size, uses his hands, wins at the catch point. Better athlete than given credit for after the catch. Going to be a good mover no matter what route you have him running. Obviously, Isaiah Likely is the other one to pay attention to. The play speed is off the charts. His release is impressive, and he's working on using his hands more. He's becoming a blocker. That is great for him moving forward throughout the draft process. The last one I want to highlight in the tight ends, just from initial viewing of the roster, is Cole Turner, who I think is going to be a move piece, matchup nightmare, get him in the red zone, let him use that catch radius, that size to win. And there are going to be teams that look for that, no doubt. For a lot of teams who maybe run some 12 personnel, maybe you look at the team like the Miami Dolphins, who are Mike Gesicki moving on potentially in free agency. Cole Turner would be a pretty pretty seamless transition there for Miami. Moving to the offensive line here, it's a big group, obviously, as you see on your screen. You know, the offensive line may not be as deep this year, and that's something just to pay attention to. Honestly, you could see some go early, and then there's kind of a lull. Trevor Penning is the headliner, could be offensive tackle 4 in this class for me and for many people. Eyes are going to be on him as the small school guy, but Central Michigan has a pair of small school guys, Bernard Raymond, Luke Gadecki, who I think are guys to watch for sure in terms of day 2 potential. Max Mitchell from Louisiana, great athlete, good hands, good anchor. He could be the big riser at the tackle position from Mobile for sure. When you look interior, obviously it starts with Zion Johnson. Dude is a stud. He, moved out to tackle for BC in 2020. Not pleased with the results there. Moves back inside to his natural position. Line of scrimmage resetter. Unbelievably good anchor. Giant hands. Great grip strength. He's complete package at guard. And I think Dylan Parham is the other one from Memphis to keep an eye on for the offensive line. Center class looks a little thin right now. Jarrett Patterson and Ricky Stromberg go back to school. There's an opening. Someone's going to take it. Will it be Alec Lindstrom, who's not going to be there, obviously, but could it be Dylan Parham, who maybe takes that step, moves inside? He's played tackle, he's played guard. Maybe see how he does at center. He'll probably get snaps there during the week. That is something to watch for sure. Defensive line, it's a little thinner group because they finally started using edge, which is nice. First name that jumps out is Travis Jones from UConn. Nose tackle with some juice. Pass rusher, he can shed blocks quickly. Great hands, quick hands, violent hands. He could be a winner. Devontae Wyatt's another one to pay attention to. He's a pass rushing 3 tech. A lot of teams are going to want that in the draft. I think he's very good at it. Logan Hall's the intriguing one from Houston, for sure. Versatile piece. Move him around. Get him at 5. Get him at 3. Let him win in a variety of ways. D-line group will be interesting for sure. So moving over to edge, it starts with Jermaine Johnson the second for me. Incredibly good run defender. 12 sacks at Florida State after transferring from Georgia. There's upside as a pass rusher. I think he definitely ends up in round 1 when all is said and done in April. Cameron Thomas is probably the next one I'd pay attention to. He's a big dude, 280, but he's really athletic. People calling him, the Mountain West version of Aiden Hutchinson are probably correct. He's a good athlete. He's fluid. He's flexible. He can get after the quarterback. Uber productive as well this season. So watch for him. I do think Majai Sanders has a big week ahead of him. I think it could be one where, again, not productive for Cincinnati, but loose, flexible, speed rusher, can get after the quarterback. Cincinnati didn't really use him in the best position. So that's definitely something to watch for sure. As we move to linebacker, maybe a little underwhelming in terms of after Devin Lloyd, who's going to have a phenomenal week down there. No doubt about it. Chad Muma, great instincts, good recognition skills, has enough range, has enough speed to work sideline to sideline. He's a finisher, he's a tackler. Don't be surprised if he goes higher than you think right now. And the last one I think you highlight here is Troy Anderson from Montana State, played in the FCS title game. Just a guy who, maybe was a little surprising that he was going to be down at the Senior Bowl. I think we're going to find out why pretty quickly once he's down there. Corner, could be a good group. Dotson still might mix these guys up, but Roger McCreary, somebody who was really good in the SEC. Everybody's going to look at the rep that John Mechie cooked him, whatever. He's been very good in man coverage. The speed is the concern. We'll see how he handles somebody like Dotson down in Mobile. Darian Kendrick, I think, is the best guy there at the moment. A guy who's improved. Ball skills look great. He's a converted wide receiver. Had a great season with Georgia. Let's see how we can build on that. What are the off-field issues going to look like with coaches and scouts down there? We'll hear a lot probably from that week for him. Otherwise, I think when you look at somebody like Marcus Jones, who is, a do-it-all, corner, returner, does so many things for you, that's a guy definitely to watch down there. I think, obviously, Kobe Bryant's another one. Pay attention to, a longer corner, productive, won the Thorpe Award. So quarterback groups should be good. Safeties, maybe not as much down in Mobile, but I will say Jalen Petry's a favorite of guys from Baylor. Kind of a guy who hangs in the box and kind of runs with range, good play speed, trying to find a role for him. So that'll be an interesting week for him. Jaquan Brisker is the favorite down there for sure for Penn State. But I'd watch a guy like Sterling Weatherford from Miami of Ohio. Great size, good range, ball skills. Same with Kirby Joseph from Illinois. Those two guys are two guys to pay attention to down in Mobile. Again, the specialists, we'll definitely talk about them, but those are probably guys we'll talk about closer to time for Mobile. But hope you enjoyed this little recap video, instant reaction to what the Senior Bowl roster looks like and how loaded it really looks heading into the draft process. It's going to be exciting, and it's just the event to kick off the draft process. It's a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoyed this instant reaction piece. Maybe like and subscribe if you're new. Plenty more coming during draft season. Profiles, film rooms, all that good stuff. So stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.